Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the 6:30 a.m. self-care at work show. My name is Belinda Harris, and I am an HR professional who's been in the field for 20 plus years. I am a business owner. And on this channel, I talk about all things self care at work because this is a safe space for stressed out workers. And every Wednesday at 6:30 in the morning, I go live on YouTube to share a self care at work tip to talk about self care at work. And this morning is no different. It is October the 1st. We are in the final quarter of the year. Can you believe it? This year is flying by. I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. I'm glad that you're here. Take a breath, grab your choice of drink, whatever that is. And if you're watching this on replay later today, good morning to you. I want to start with a question. How many of you feel like your mind never truly turns off, right? Even after the workday ends? My hands up. Because a lot of times I feel like my mind never truly turns off. Like I'm always still thinking about work on some shape or form. Am I the only one out here who even when the work's over, your mind never really turns off from work? If so, then today's session is all about how to pause with purpose during your workday so that by the time tonight comes, that we're not dragging everything with us, right? So this is something that I've started to practice. It's pausing with purpose. And I want to try to share that with you this morning. See, there's this song called Tonight by Pink Panthers. I don't know if you've heard it. I'm sure you have because it's everywhere, but it's called Tonight. But what if your tonight isn't restful, but residual stress? What if it's that? We're going to fix that if it is. Because we live in a culture where being busy equals being productive. That's what we think. We have emails, we have meetings, we have Slack pings and text messages and group messages. We go from one thing to the next without breathing, right? You go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, because that's what we thought we're supposed to do. That's called being productive. That's called being busy, right? One thing to the next, to the next, to the next without breathing. And that's what makes stress sticky. It accumulates, right? And by the time evening comes, our brain is full. But there's this thing that's called purposeful pause, and we underutilize it. See, a pause isn't a break from work, it's an investment into your performance, your clarity, and your energy. Because I want you to think for a second. Which moment in the workday feels the most on autopilot? Like, think about it. Where's the one that feels most like autopilot? Because that's where your pause needs to land. When you feel like you're just on autopilot, like what moment in the day? Just go, 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 go. Because that right there, that moment in the workday is where your pause should be. Is it after lunch, a post lunch fog? Is it after a big meeting? Is it the midday slump? Like, where in your day when you feel like you're on autopilot? Because that's where your purposeful pause needs to start. And I'm going to give you 3 actionable resets that you can do today. You've heard me talk about it. Like, these are things that you can do even when you feel like you have no time. 3 resets, 3 actionable resets that you can incorporate starting today. Starting today. The first one is the 60-second reset, right? And it looks different on different people. And this one that I'm talking about is that when stress hits, you stop, you close your eyes, you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold it for 2 seconds, and you exhale for 6 seconds, right? The 60-second reset. Inhale for 4 seconds, you hold that for 2 seconds, and you exhale for 6 seconds. Now, this is a little different than the 4-4-4. This is a 60-second reset. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. You do that 3 times. My 4-4-4, you do 4 times. This is the 60-second reset. You do it for 3 times because this will slow your nervous system. This is a 60-second reset. The second reset that you can try is the micro ritual. And that's where you pick a tiny action that you commit to doing whenever transition happens, right? A transition can be after an email or before switching tasks. Transition, when you transition from one thing to the next. That's what I mean by transition. When you're transitioning work, you're going to pick a micro ritual that you're going to commit to doing whenever a transition happens. So if a transition happens several times a day, you're going to do this micro ritual several times a day. Let me tell you some examples of the ritual. It could be stand and stretch. It could be look away from the screen. This is my window over here. Look away from the screen. It could be take a sip of water. It could be write one word. The word could be steady. The word could be breathe. The word could be okay. Whenever there's a transition, stand and stretch. You could do that. You can look away from the screen. So I would look outside. I could then take a sip of water. I can write one word down, gratitude, pause, breathe, okay. Because this ritual, when you start incorporating this micro ritual, this ritual signals to your brain, pause now, reset now. That's what it does. When you start incorporating that, because it will feel at first odd, then you'll get used to it. When you start incorporating your transition from one task to the next, these micro rituals in there, it signals to your brain to pause now and reset now. The third thing, the third reset is the midpoint review. And what's that? It is halfway through your work block, right? So maybe you set a work block for 90 minutes or 60 minutes or 30 minutes. Halfway through your work block, pause for 30 seconds and ask yourself, what's done so far? What's left? And what's the one most important next thing? What's done so far? What's left? And what's the one most important next thing? Because this reorients you so you don't get pulled off track by notifications or low priority tasks. A lot of times we get pulled into low priority tasks that doesn't move the needle anywhere. But it's busy work. It keeps us feeling like we're doing something and not just standing here or sitting here. But it's a low priority task. But when you pause, when you do a midpoint review, and you take those 30 seconds, what's what's done so far? What's left? And what's the one most important next thing? It pulls you back on track and keeps you on track. So that all these little notifications, which hopefully you turn them off if you are doing a work block. But if you have them on, hopefully those notifications or low priority tasks don't pull you in a million different directions. Those are the 3 actionable steps that you can take today. Now, back to Tonight, right? By the Pink Panthers. If you know that song. That song gives us this vibe of expectation, release, maybe even escape. But if you walk into your tonight carrying every unfinished thing, like in your mind, you rob yourself of rest. A lot of us do that. I've done it. I still work hard on not carrying it with me. But if we walk through our tonight, carrying all the things we didn't finish, every unfinished thing, we rob ourselves of rest. But if we start using purposeful pauses so that our tonight is not a replay of our workday because we've dragged along all day. Like our tonight isn't a replay of the workday because a lot of us replay, oh, I could have did this. If we use purposeful pause so that our tonight is not a replay of our workday, that it's a space, it's just a space. That's the difference between residual stress and resonant rest. I want you to imagine this. I know it's early in the morning. I know it's 6:30 if you're watching it live, but I want you to imagine closing your laptop tonight, right? After work, you closing your laptop and your brain feels a little empty of work, right? Because you don't have a lot of work going in your brain right now. You've closed it. Why? Because you've paused well through the day. Imagine that tonight when you go to close your laptop, your brain is not carrying all those unfinished tasks. That is a little empty from work, from your work tasks, because you've paused well throughout the day. Imagine that. Imagine trying that. I would love to know which one of the 3 resets that you're going to try. The 60-second, the micro ritual, or the midpoint review. Now, before I finish this morning, I'd love for you to pick one moment in your workday and decide, I will pause there with purpose. Before I go, before you close out this video, if you're watching on replay, pick one moment in your workday. I want you to decide right now where you will pause at that moment with purpose. For example, I will pause after lunch, or I will pause after inbox 0, or I will pause after the client call. I want you to think about your work today before this video ends, before this live is over. If you're watching it live or if you're watching it later in replay, the video ends. I want you to pick a moment in your workday and decide, I will pause there with purpose. I want you to try that today. Every Wednesday, I go live at 6:30 in the morning, which is mighty, mighty early. But I go live so that we can keep building these habits together. Listen, if you are a stressed out worker, this channel is a safe space for you. This channel is. I am a safe space person for you. And I am giving you permission to pause. If you feel like I don't have permission or I don't have to, I am giving you permission to pause today and every day after. Because your mind, your body, and your health deserves that. I'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. And for the people watching it on replay, I will see you at the next video.